Let's assume you already know how to force a card on someone, okay? Lots of forces out in the world. I teach some on my channel here. You can find them. And this, of course, is a secret way to make sure that when someone selects a card from the deck, however you do it, that you're able to control which card they take. Today, I'm going to share with you 10 different ways to reveal the card. So let's say you force the 4 of diamonds, okay? You force the 4 of diamonds. Someone puts the 4 of diamonds back into the deck like that. All good like that, okay? You say, look, I'm going to try to find your card. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, okay? Got a buck here. I'm going to risk this buck, okay? If I screw this up, you get the buck. You take the deck of cards, get rid of the deck, and of course they're thinking of their card. You go, watch, let's see if I can do this. I think I just found your card. And in fact, in finding the card, I think you'd agree if I successfully find your card, then I get to keep my money. And of course, when they look inside, all they find is a folded card. Your folded bill is gone. They can examine everything. When they open it up, of course, it is the 4 of diamonds. The setup is that you're going to have a folded 4 of diamonds inside the case. So it starts inside the case, right? As we said, we're going to force the 4 of diamonds. So we use our favorite force or our second favorite force to force the 4 of diamonds. Then it's put back inside the middle of the card. Everything's fair. Now it looks like I take the folded bill, slip it inside, and close up the case. But what I've actually done is slip the folded bill below the case. Now this is not hard. It's very organic and natural technique. Because the card case is lying with the half moon side facing up, basically the flap on the bottom, when I turn this over, it is so natural for me to come over. I use my fingertips to lift up the flap here and apparently slip this in, but it actually goes below the case, okay? My thumb pushes it below the case, but my fingers go inside the case. So you would swear that the folded bill is going inside, but it's below. So because I'm already got a folded card in there, when I lift this up, I'm going to drop my hand to the side, okay? Like this. Everybody's looking here. Nobody's looking at my hand as it drops to my side. But boy, it looks exactly, and you can use this switch for many things, okay? But in this trick, so apparently the folded bill is inside there. This goes down. Now I can grab the cards and take them and put them in my pocket. Or I can take them and grab everything and put it on a bar stool off to the side. Just get rid of it. And in getting rid of the deck, of course, the folded card, the folded bill is going along for the ride, okay? So to finish, you can hand this to someone to hold, and it happens in their own hands, even if you want, okay? And they open up and they find impossibly, first, where'd the money go? Trick 1. So that's the thing about transformations, is they're really a vanish and an appearance at the same time. Force your 4 diamonds, as we've talked about. Then you need to control the 4 of diamonds to the position where it's second from the top of the deck, okay? And one simple way to do that is to use Marlowe's move, Ed Marlowe. He has a move called tilt. And with tilt, it looks exactly like I take a 4, or the 4, and slip it into the middle of the deck, okay? But it's actually only second from the top. And the way I did that is when I showed you the card here, I got a little break under the top card, okay? And then I'm angling it. So this is what's happening, but it's a much smaller angle. What that means is when I slip it in here, boy, it looks like it's going in the middle, but it's actually just going below the top card, okay? And if I add a little subtlety to it, where I take this card and I poke it into the middle of the cards legitimately, so if you come out of the middle, then put this second from the top and square it in, boy, you'd swear it's in the middle of the deck, but it's actually second from the top. So it's where I need to be. Now I wave my hand, snap my fingers, and I turn over the top card on, and I go, there it is your card. They go, no. And you go, okay. I'm going to come over and I'm going to pull off the top 2 cards, okay? With my thumb at the back, I just get a break, lift off the top 2 cards, and I grip them like this. Middle finger on this side, thumb here, finger here, there. Now, while I weigh this, I'm going to let these 2 cards snap. They're going to snap from this position to this position. But you really have to make sure that the 2 cards don't spread. You really have to apply a lot of pressure with your thumb, and as the middle finger comes together, you want to really hold tight. And if you do this larger action here, where it's near the deck, and you get that nice snap, then you hold it here like this. You can put it right on top there, leaving the king behind, and you can take your 4 off. Listen very carefully, because there's something about whispering that's very dramatic for people. I love whispering. I use it in lots of different ways. It's playful. I also love the idea of being able to lean into somebody and say something to them that only they get to hear. Not just you finding the card after it's been selected, but leaning into someone saying, I'm going to have you pick a card in a second, but first, hold on. You lean in and you whisper. And you don't even say, I'm going to whisper. I'm going to mention a prediction to Lucy here. I'm going to say, but 1 second, please. And you lean in and you say something and no one knows. And all you're saying is, 4 of clubs. Or Fred will choose the 4 of clubs. Okay? And then you do your force, goes back into the deck, then you turn over to whoever you whisper to and say, let me ask you, did I whisper something into your ear? She goes, yeah. You say, do you remember what I whispered? She goes, yeah. And you say, for the first time, I want you to say out loud the exact card I whispered into your ear before he even selected it. And when she says that out loud, everyone freaks out. The card needs to be controlled to the bottom of the deck. And then not any object, but with your hand, your phone, maybe a loaf of bread, you want to hit the deck in such a way that, look, you're going to hit it and the card is going to automatically be popped or kind of forced around and on top of whatever's there, okay? I've actually grabbed someone's hand and whacked the deck too, and sometimes I can't control if it's going to go flying or it's going to end up where I want it to. But here with the phone, you can grab someone's phone and say, and again, I forced the king of hearts. Okay? So the thumb, you don't want it too far down, but you don't want it too far up. It's sort of maybe an inch down. Okay, you'll get a feel for this. And you borrow their phone, so I'm going to use a magic wand to find. I'm going to use your phone, everything. The technology is amazing, supernatural. I can even use it to find the card you're thinking of, the card you selected. Show both sides. You don't want them thinking it was underneath there. And now when I tap it, I can hit it, it comes spinning around, and a very pretty reveal of their card. So a paper napkin. You can say, I'm going to try something, look into someone's eyes. They're going to be like a crystal ball, see if I get a sense, and ask them silly questions. What's your favorite movie? What's your second favorite dessert? And as you do that, all you're going to do is, you can do it quick. I mean, maybe here, I'm just going to draw a square, and I'm going to force the 2 of diamonds on them. So I'm going to put 2 diamonds like that. Just draw 2 diamonds on the paper napkin. Very simple, okay? So I can do that while asking them silly questions, okay? What I like about this is it's something off the table, something completely impromptu, okay? Then I just ball this up and I put it in their hand. So they're holding it. Then I use my force to force the 2 of diamonds. The 2 diamonds go back. And now they open up their hand, they find the paper napkin. Your prediction, how could you have possibly done it? So you get them involved, you get to ask them questions. The other way is to do it the other way is to force the 2 of diamonds on them. They put it back in the deck, they hold the deck, and now you're thinking of a card. I'm gonna try to get a sense of that card. So rather than making your prediction, then they choose, you can reveal the card by looking at them and asking them silly questions and getting a sense on this and that. And again, either sketch a card or just draw 2 diamonds on the card or whatever you want. And then you have this dramatic moment at the end, which is nice because it's great with a small audience for them to have it in their hand and they discover it. But for a bigger group of people, let's say you're doing a show at the work lunchroom or in front of your school class or something, now I can do this and have this dramatic moment of saying, have them announce, as I mentioned earlier, announce the card. They say 2 of diamonds. You've already put your marker away. You're fully committed. They say 2 of diamonds. You say 2 of diamonds. You're sure it was the 2 of diamonds. They go, yes. And you go, just checking. It can also be fun to let the spectator find her own card, okay? Because so often as the magician, you take all the credit, right? I did it, and implicit or explicit, you did it. But how about letting them find their own card? So you can have someone force a card and then basically force it on them again and they find it. Or what I like to do is share the wealth. Let's share the credit. Have, the girlfriend is thinking of a card, the boyfriend finds it. Or the wife is thinking of a card and her wife finds it, her partner, whatever. So it's nice to share it around like that. So that's 2 forces. Now, one way you could do it very easily is to use the riffle force twice. Okay, and by that I mean this. Let's say I'm going to use the riffle force to force the 10 of clubs. So, I'm going to go through riffle, they call stop, I lift everything above the break, and just show her the 10. Say, okay, keep the 10 in mind, okay, boom, like that, okay. Take the cards, now put them back together, and keep my break, but maybe I get the break below the 10 as I square up the cards. So now I turn to the husband, okay, and I'll say, so, you know, are you and your wife, does she ever finish your own sentences or your sentences? He goes, yeah, all the time. He goes, let's see if you can find the card she's thinking of, because my hands are tired. I've been doing magic. You can take all the pressure. I can take a break for a while. Turn to this guy, keep a break with my thumb directly below the 10 as I turn to him and say stop whenever you want. And I dribble the cards down. As soon as he says stop, I drop all the cards down to here. Look at this card and say for the very first time, what was the card you had in mind? She says 10 of clubs. You turn to him and you go, nicely done. For this, very simply, I could have 3 hearts balled up on a piece of paper. I've pre-drawn it. It's 3 hearts balled up on there, okay? I have no markers involved. And so what I would do is I would force or what you could do is a reverse, let's say. Let's say this is palmed. You start off by taking a piece of paper or even have somebody rip out a piece of paper from the pad, okay? It's obviously blank. Ball it up. Say, hold your hand for me. Okay, I'm going to have you hold on to this. And what I've done there is a simple switch. I pretended to pick that up, pretended to pick it up, and I just switched in this, okay? So any simple switch and have them hold on to this in their hand. So they've got that in their hand. And of course, to clean up, I just take the pad, I put it away, and when I put it away, I get rid of my duplicate, the blank, right? Now I can force my 3, right? They saw it was blank, have the card put back in, wave my hand, they open their hand, and they find that the one card they selected, the image has impossibly appeared on an ordinary piece of paper in their hand. Now the reason I had this other one at the start here is because of course what you could do is force the 3 of hearts, maybe even force the 3 of hearts and an ace of diamonds. Do the handling I just showed you, and what you're basically going to do is say, look, I already did something for Fred, who chose the ace. So we'll do something here for Alice. Alice, you're thinking of a card. Piece of paper, do the switch, she opens her hand, you predicted her card. Now what I like about that kind of structure is you've planted the seed of an ace over here, but you're acting like you're not even going to ever get back to that. So now when I put away the cards or whatever I want, I put away the cards, I have this already balled up in my other pocket, okay? So at the end of this trick, I can take this, ball this up, right? Do a false transfer over the other one, whatever, and leave it on the table. Put away my stuff, I can put away my marker, everything can go away in my pockets, my case, whatever. This is actually sitting on the table. I say, thank you so much, you guys have been great. Oh, wait a second, I forgot. You were thinking of a card too, right? And he says ace of diamonds, and you just do this. And you walk away. And when they open up and they see the piece of paper that was first blank, then someone's selected card appeared, and then the first drawing changed into the second. Now you've got a trick that's so strong and the theater is structured in such a way that you can close the show with this shocker. Here's a way to reveal a card that you can do for 100 people, okay, because it plays so big. You forced a card, let's say it's the 4 of diamonds to someone, and you say, okay, so you're thinking of a card, got a card. Now, if I could, without any, asking you questions or, secret video cameras, if I could literally somehow reveal the card you have in mind, I think you'd agree that'd be pretty big news. I mean, that'd be pretty good. Speaking of news, I got a newspaper right here. You're thinking of a card. I'm going to use a magic wand. Now, you might think, well, a pair of scissors isn't exactly a magic wand, but I think if you certainly, I don't know, go back in time or a certain kind of native or aboriginal cultures 500,000 years ago, I think a pair of scissors is kind of a magic wand. So you're thinking of a card. Let me see here. Getting a sense here. I'm not sure, but maybe, was this maybe your card? Plays big. Now notice the scripting points, because I have used this a bunch of times. You force the 4, okay, first. Second, I think you'd agree if I could find your card, if I could name it out loud, it'd be pretty big news. Speaking of news, little segue there. And I've got the newspaper folded in half, quarter, and quarter. I'm going to cut along the fold, okay, speaking of news. I like the idea of a magic wand. Well, maybe not a magic wand to us, but 1,000 years ago, they would have considered a magic wand. And now in front of them, there's this the fact that you do this improvised in front of them, and they just selected from a shuffle deck any card they wanted. Now you get to do this. You want to kind of cover it so it's not too obvious right away you're cutting out a diamond. Okay. And again, maybe have them announce the card before you do it. Okay, so everybody knows, or they show it to everybody. Then you open up like this, and it's the largesse, it's the bigness, the size of the reveal. And notice if you had 2 cards, you can force to 4 diamonds and an 8 of diamonds, right? So you go, boom, is that yours? People go, oh my God. Say, wait a second, Frank, didn't you choose one too? Does this look familiar? And now you got the 8 as well. Guaranteed applause break. This is super old. It's got to be 50 years, 100 years old. And people used to do it with a piece of soap, a little corner, piece of soap, little corner, dampen it, and you write on your arm. Okay, but this is popularized by a billion magicians, David Blaine, etc. I find using just the glue stick's easy, right? So let's say you're going to force the 2 of diamonds. Force the 2 of diamonds. But beforehand, what you do is you take a glue stick and you do a diamond. You try as neatly as you can to write sort of a diamond on your arm here and a diamond on your arm here. Now I'm rushing this. I don't know how clear this is going to be. Okay? So that can even be, you can be wearing your jacket, your shirt, whatever, or nothing, and people won't see it. And then when it comes time to reveal the card, traditionally you use ashes, but a lot of people don't smoke in public places in the same way. So I find you're in a coffee shop, coffee grinds, right? You grab some coffee grounds, they're thinking of their card, grab some coffee grounds, you rub it on your arm. Look at that. I mean, what a great way to reveal the selected card being a 2 of diamonds. Now this last one is definitely one of my most performed revelations of a selected card. It's the kind of thing I can close the show with. It's extremely strong because a number of different kind of magic tricks come together here. Let's say I've forced the 2 of clubs, okay? Forced the 2 of clubs. And then I say, look, I know your card's somewhere in the deck. Go ahead, touch a card. They touch a card. Go ahead, touch a card. They touch a card. Touch one, they touch a card. So you have 4 cards touched. You say the odds are, I don't know what the odds are of one of these 4 cards being the selected card, but look, I'm going to cover them in my hands. And you can pass the cards to someone to hold on to in their own hands, or you can do it in your own hands. You squeeze, you say, concentrate, think of your card. He's thinking of the 2 of clubs, of course. You go, I think it's going to see if I can look. And they see something very weird has happened with the 4 cards. They see the 4 cards have impossibly fused. They touched any 4 cards, but they've fused. They can examine this. They fused together. And in fact, those 4 cards have melted together into one jumbo 2 of clubs. This is my trick, bigger finish. And I've been performing this for probably easily 15 years. It's one of my marketed tricks. You'll find it at sankymagic.com. There's on the tutorial that comes with the gimmicks, especially printed gimmicks. You get 2 gimmicks, 2 different cards. The tutorial has a bunch of different handlings and things, but here probably the easiest way to do this is to have this folded up, okay? And all I do, let's say I'm going to use a top card force. Okay, very simple force. Here are 2 of clubs like this, boom, it's on top like that, okay? I can have this folded up literally on the bottom of the deck. Okay? I can even have a rubber band around the whole thing, so it's self-contained, okay? Now, when I want to I can show the cards all fairly because the gimmick's hidden at the bottom of the deck. Very simple. It's on top, spread out the cards, casually cut the cards. And what I did there is a slip cut. I literally put my left thumb, dragged the card, and kept a break with my finger. Now I can go down, do a riffle force. Wherever they call stop is my force card. So there's lots of ways to force this, but this is a way to force it where my gimmick is underneath the deck the whole time, right? Now I spread through, say touch a card, and each time I'm pushing out a card, it's really selling the idea that these cards are separate. They're all separate, right? Kick them off to the side, and it looks like I simply take the cards off. But I've switched all 4 touch cards for the gimmick. Here I'm using Vernon's substitute transfer. I've mentioned this a few times on the channel here. I love this move because all I do is kick them to the side. Come over here, and I want to make it look like I stripped them out. As I strip these out, I just slide the gimmick with the cards, and for a second I have all 4 cards and the gimmick. Then I just square up these cards in a continuing action, and when I do that, I've just stolen the 4 loose cards, okay? All 4 cards that were the 4 loose cards are now all stolen beneath the deck. Put the deck down, the trick is done. Hand this to somebody to hold on to. I can talk about magic, have them concentrate, have them squeeze, do jokes about getting to the gym, whatever I want. Then lift the hand and they see first. Now this is already a magic trick. The fact that the cards have fused is a trick in itself. But when you open it up and everybody's eyes go wide and you turn this over to show, boom, it matches the card they freely chose, it's a guaranteed reputation maker.